So there's some people from atheistmovie.com that I want to talk to. I'm going to talk to them. Hi. You guys are from Atheist Movie, which is not really an atheist movie, but an attempt to kind of subtly get Christian values and Christian messages out there. Yeah. So it's a theist movie. So were you at the last Reason rally? No. Okay, maybe not. But I am very curious. I have this question. I always ask open-air preachers and people who are evangelizing this question. Why is an all-powerful, all-knowing, all-present being having finite beings like yourself do his PR work for him? That seems to me to be very silly, that an all-powerful, omnipotent deity would be relying on humans to proselytize and do public relations work for him. Help me understand this.
I can try to answer that, and then I'll let the two smarter guys follow.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Everything you look around and see is already doing the PR work. We're not forced to do this. I'm not earning anything. Okay. Nor do I believe I'm earning anything by doing this. There's nobody that would ever give up their life and die for another criminal. Okay. Does that make sense?
But they could give up their life for something that they really believed, but that they didn't quite have any reason to believe, right, or that they were utterly convinced of. And you said that everything around here is doing the PR work for you.
Yeah.
And
I think it's the foundation.
From what I understand, you're using like a Romans 1 argument that says creation itself speaks to the existence of the God of the Bible. Right. Because I'm an ex-Christian. But here's the thing. Even if we acknowledge or say that a creator must be there to explain why the world is the way it is, there is a light year of difference between a necessary creator and the God of the Bible must be real. Because there are other creator deities that people have worshipped. I went to the Museum of the American Indian yesterday, and I saw people talking about Wankan-Tonkan, who is the great spirit of the Plains Indians, and who's a creator deity, very different from the God of the Bible. There's a Ahura Mazda. There's all kinds of other gods that people have worshipped and have claimed that's the creator.
Right.
You and I don't believe in those gods. But they say, and I like this quote, theists have 1,000 gods they don't believe in. Atheists have 1,001.
Right.
And that's basically what it is. And for me, I'm an ex-Christian. I believed very strongly in this stuff.
So what happened?
A combination of things. I found that I had moral, scientific, and philosophical problems with the Bible. Many of the Christians I met were good people. Some of them weren't.
Yeah,
and I realized the contrast.
How could you have those problems on an atheistic worldview, have moral problems?
The moral argument for God. Because, I mean, a lot of people assume that if we're just atoms and chemicals bouncing around,
but I'm not assuming that you're saying that. And then when you made the argument that there were other gods, Christianity is based on historical evidence. It's testable.
That's what I believe. It's the resurrection of Jesus.
It's evidential. See, those other guys, there's no evidence. Just like the flying spaghetti monster just walked by. There's no evidence.
I think you can make an argument that some of the evidence that Christian apologists put forward for the Bible, the accuracy of the Bible, can be questioned. But even if there were historical evidence for the Bible, that doesn't mean that everything in it is true. For example, archaeologists believe they have found the city of Troy, the basis for the story of the Trojan War. That does not mean that the Iliad and the Odyssey are true and that the Olympians are real.
I agree.
Some people believe that they have found evidence for the Hindu gods. People say, there's been past life, people have remembered their past life.
That they worship in pantheism. And for you to make a moral claim that there's moral culpability with the scriptures, how could you make that claim?
Atheists absolutely have a foundation for morality, and I would say it's more grounded. Yeah, I would say it's more grounded than the theistic one because it's based in things that can actually be demonstrated to exist.
Like what?
But like things like doing a cost benefit analysis of how things harm or benefit.
But that's subjective. That's just going
because that's the only context in which ideas like right and wrong and morality make any sense.
Because the anti-theistic worldview, how can you even make these claims? You don't have an authentic point of reference.
No, because it's not an authoritarian one doesn't mean that it's not a valid one.
Well, then how can it even be true?
Because we can demonstrate that murder is harmful to people.
Why is it bad for
might be harmful for the person getting killed,
Because-
but not the person killing them.
Because it hurts the society, the general collective.
Why is it bad that the society is?
I can see where you're going with this because it's the moral argument for God.
Yeah.
And basically, you make the argument that because Christians and other theists have a foundation for morality, then that means, or what you say is, what you believe to be a foundation for morality that transcends humanity, then that means it's suddenly more valid. I disagree. I think that atheists can have a grounds for ideas about right and wrong because it's based in the idea that right and wrong are based on harmful versus beneficial.
But why should something be harmful? Why should something be beneficial rather than harmful? What's the basis?
What's the grounds for that? And that's subjective. Just going by feelings.
Because it makes the world better.
Who says?
Because we can demonstrate it. We can measure. How does this harm? How does this?
Why is it a herd mentality?
But you see, the thing is, it works better than the theistic one because if a Christian says our morals are grounded in God, our morals are grounded in God's commandments, everyone can say, "Oh, God told me to murder somebody." Then suddenly,
Who are you to
if
say
divine command,
what's good and what's
yeah,
bad?
if divine command theory works, and it's true, and whatever God commands becomes moral.
I believe that it's not what things are not right because God commands them, nor does God command things because they are right, but rather good is grounded in who God is. So that he's not appealing to some moral standard that has existed before him, but he is the standard.
It
It's in
emanates
Okay.
from
his
him.
nature.
But then this
There's
God
no
just
you pick from-
this God disqualifies himself because if you believe that, for example, the moral argument that genocide is wrong comes from God's intrinsic character, then the God disqualifies himself because Yahweh specifically, on multiple occasions during the Old Testament, commands genocide.
Genocide is to kill somebody because of their.
No, it's to wipe out
ethnicity.
entire groups of
Because of
people.
their specific ethnicity.
up there?
Yeah.
Or if you can keep it down.
Yeah, it wipes out
No,
entire.
when we have to define what genocide is. Genocide can be applied to wiping out somebody for ethnicity.
Yes.
The bloody harem described in the Bible is because of the land of Canaan, where there was Amorites, Jebusites. That's what we're talking.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm going to show you how bad it is to sacrifice your child to Moloch or Baal by killing your child in the name of Yahweh. So, yeah, when I kill somebody in the name of my God, it's good. But when you kill somebody for your God, it's bad. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, that man
Let me
just...
ask you a question. I want to go back to what you said.
Yeah.
What did you say your name was?
Steven.
I'm Tim, bro.
Tim, hello.
Okay, so look.
I'm doing this for my YouTube channel, by the
That's
way.
fine.
I've been doing them too.
So look, check this out. You started out by saying, how could a God, let this happen and that? You don't understand. Okay? That was the basis.
Okay.
Let me ask, and this I'm being honest and wanting to know.
Yeah.
Just because we don't understand stuff, does that discredit or disprove it? Like I don't look. I don't understand why God does some of the things He does, but it doesn't. Who am I to even question?
I think it provides legitimate reason to be skeptical.
Right,
Not
okay.
only, I mean, even if it was from a transcendent being,
Right.
I think I'd still be skeptical. I read a lot of comic books, and I mean, many of the actions of the Bible, if a comic book villain was doing them, we'd all recognize as evil. If like Dormammu was deciding to kill people, then we'd recognize it. But
Okay, well,
because Yahweh does it,
Right. Well,
suddenly
let me
it
go back
becomes
to what you
legit.
said, because I want to stick with you. I'm staying with you. You said it's questionable, but we're at an atheist rally.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went from, hey, this is questionable to he doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how you got there.
Well, I
Now,
have
look,
to-
let me tell you
yeah.
something. I grew up in church my whole entire life. I wasn't a Christian. You know what I mean? I signed the card. Dude, I was the hero of signing cards. I knew how to sign the card. I got saved every time I got in trouble. But eventually, my conscience ate away. And I don't want to throw Christianity and religion in the same pile because they're not the same. And just because I say that doesn't mean I hate them, but it's true.
Well,
Let me tell you,
I
just
was
wanna
very
go-
devout. I
Let me
can
clear- let me
assure
clear
you
this
of
up
that.
for you,
Yeah.
and you can tell me what you think right after. Christianity says, let me define religion. Religion says, do this, and maybe you'll get eternal life. Christianity says, there's no way you can cover for what you've done. You're wicked, I'm wicked, everybody in this place has a sin problem, okay? So look, here's the thing. You can't earn yourself or take back what you've done to your brother. You agree with that? If you lied to your mom, 1,000 times. Let's just say I took your car. We're in front of the judge. If I tell the judge that I've been paying my mom's mortgage and I'm covering everybody, you think he's going to let me go?
He might give you leniency.
Okay, that's totally different. Okay? We can't cover for what we've done. Christianity does that.
Well,
there's no works. That's why he said we're PR. PR? Well, here's the thing. PR guys get paid. I ain't getting paid for this.
Well, I think Christianity is an imaginary cure for a disease that it inflicts on people by telling them that they're wicked and evil because the most ancient humans ate magic fruit that they weren't supposed to eat.
Has nothing to do with
and
Jesus.
therefore sin. Yeah, because by the first Adam, sin enters the world.
Right.
By the last Adam, sin is defeated. So it has everything to do
with
the Bible.
That story does that sound bad?
Because that has everything to do with that story. You said that has nothing to do with Jesus. It has everything to do.
No, well,
because it goes back to Genesis 1 through 3, and then you come forward into Romans, and supposedly Jesus defeats
But see,
sin.
I think you and I are a lot alike.
Yeah.
Did you grow up?
I grew up in a Pentecostal church.
There
Yes.
you go. Dude, let me tell you something. That's some of the most damaging stuff ever. And I'm not saying every single one is like that. But dude, you and I have both been damaged by that. But the thing is we weren't learning the God of the Bible.
Oh, yes, I was. How would I know Romans if I wasn't reading it?
Mormons know Romans, bro.
Yeah.
Jehovah's Witnesses can quote scripture better than me, him, and him put together.
Anyway.
That doesn't mean anything. It's about your heart.
Oh,
The
I
thing is,
believed.
it's your
I
heart.
believed. I assure you, I believed very deeply.
Okay.
I don't believe now.
But listen, let me tell you something. I think that the creator of the world is good enough to keep you safe. So is it possible that you were never a Christian and that you
I
were
think it's
fed
highly,
another-
highly unlikely.
Okay. You were fed another Jesus, and when that Jesus didn't pan out right, you were hurt.
No.
Dude, I can only say that because I've been there, bro. Trust me. You're talking to somebody. I grew up in the Pentecostal movement. I watched stuff that me and him still talk about to this day. And that was 20 years ago. I'm like, dude, there was this one time that this happened, and I can't even believe that happened.
Well,
it's tough to get over.
I don't think it was because I was hurt, no, mostly. It was because I really thought about the Bible and approached it critically from a perspective of not this is Holy Scripture, sola scriptura,
Right.
divinely inspired,
Well,
but this is a book.
Well, let me sum up.
And
both
when
of
you
our
approach it that way,
conversations.
then
What's
suddenly
your goal,
there's...
man?
Huh?
What's your goal? Obviously, you're passionate about this.
Okay, my goal is to be the best person I can be, do the best I can with the only life I'm guaranteed to be given,
Okay.
and make the world better for the people around me.
Well, let me ask you this. How's that going?
Pretty well.
Okay. So you obviously know. Just look at the commandments.
Okay.
Have you lied today or yesterday?
I have told a lie before, and I know that Ray Comfort does this all the time. He says,
no,
well,
but
that
it-
makes you a liar.
It's
But
from,
it doesn't.
No, from Jesus. From Jesus. Jesus, look, there's a bunch of religious guys floating around in Israel when he showed up, and he goes, listen, they're saying this, but I'm saying to you, if you're looking at a girl, we're more than just, you're lusting.
Yeah.
That's the heart. Forget about the Ray Comfort.
That's silly.
All that.
That's silly because when you look at it, Jesus says that whosoever looks at a woman to lust after her has already committed adultery in his heart. That's from the Sermon on the Mount. But then when you think about it, who's responsible for designing the human sex drive? Who's responsible for instilling in humanity, according to this worldview, instilling in humanity these strong biological urges to have
If he's responsible
sex?
for you following all those things, then why even try to be a good person?
Yeah, but if God designs humanity with these strong biological urges to reproduce, to have sex, and then punishes people
Right.
for
Whoa.
having strong biological
No, don't mix
urges
it,
to have
don't
sex
mix
and
it.
lust,
You're mixing two things. Because listen, I'm married.
doesn't make any sense.
It's okay to have sex with my wife. I love it. I do it great. I mean, all that. There's nothing wrong with that. But when that's taken outside of a covenant, then all kinds of problems happen.
That's
You know
foolish.
that.
That's
Really?
foolish. I think that's foolish, yes.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to give you a fact. You ready?
Okay.
I'm never going to get an STD from my wife.
Okay.
Why is that? Why is that?
It's possible that you could
How's
if
that?
she
If
contracts
we're in a
HPV or HIV
No,
from
I'm
some
talking-
other
a
from
sex
some other
person.
source, and then she passes it on to you. So it's possible, but
Yeah,
very
so
unlikely.
You thought that
Very
was a
unlikely.
1 in a billion chance.
Yeah, very
Okay.
unlikely, but it's
Right.
possible.
Okay, so do you see where I'm going with this? You and I both have a problem, bro. We have a sin issue.
I disagree. I
Okay.
fundamentally disagree
Let's
with
try
that.
this one more time. Ready? If I recorded all your thoughts for a year, right, and all your friends here, I don't know if you got a big family, you got all your friends, family, all of them. Put it on the big screen up there and watch what you were thinking every day, every night. Things that you thought about your family members when you were angry, things you thought about your friends. I'm saying this because I'm there with you, okay? Do you think that anybody would even look at you after that?
Well, they'd say, "Oh, Steven's human." They'd see the bad
Dude,
things
listen.
that I thought, but they'd also see the times, which I think outweigh the bad times, where I was nice, where I was beneficial, where I was selfless.
Dude.
So I think that it would balance out pretty well.
Well, real quick, if there is no God, and if you're going to die, and your kids are going to die, and their kids are going to die, and eventually the sun's going to incinerate the earth, and there's going to be no more conscious life in the universe unless there's aliens, what is the point of living a good life?
Making the world the best it can be. And
Why does that
I
matter?
benefit now from the actions taken by other people in the past, and I want to push that forward
But
and
it's
pass
not
that
going to
forward.
last. Nobody's going to remember any of it.
Yeah, but they'll still benefit from it. Even if they don't know specifically, on this date, Stephen did this, this, and this. But they will be better. They will be better for the short time that they have. They will be better. Anyway, I'm going to go watch the more of the rally. It was nice meeting you all.
Nice meeting you, brother.
Thank
Hey, listen,
you.
I want to tell you something
Yeah.
real quick. We're not against each other. I'm just arguing for hope.
Okay.
There is hope, brother. I'm telling you. I don't think that I'm any better than you. I don't think that I got it more figured out than you. I just don't think that you realize how wicked we are.
I think we have to agree to disagree. But take care.